He said, just like this, I have done everything that can be imagined for the children of earth. And I'm quoting him verbatim. This is exactly what he said. And I've withheld from them no good thing. And yet they don't thank me. They don't show me, they don't show me gratitude. And then he paused and he looked me directly in the eyes and he looked literally sad, like heartbroken. He said, they don't even acknowledge me.
Well, Ryan, you said you've seen both the Father and Jesus face to face, and that God gave you a message for his children. Can you tell me more?
Yeah. Actually, that's a real small kind of synopsis of, what I have seen and the experiences that I've had in real life, miraculous things like literal miracles from our Father. So, but I did see the Father, Jesus Christ, the Father and Jesus Christ. In this particular instance, and this is just one instance. I have, a message regarding upcoming events too, but I'll tell you that one specifically. So I had a near-death experience when I was like just before kindergarten. I suffocated in my bed. I fell asleep face down, and after that and I left my body. And I didn't leave this realm. I didn't leave Earth, but I was outside of my body looking at myself, and everything, the way that you look around yourself, it looked like a, I don't know, kind of like a 3D camera where you can see in front of yourself, behind yourself, above yourself, and all that. And I was floating on the ceiling, and I was about to leave this realm, and I noticed that the roof of the house, it was like it didn't exist. And I could see into all of the rooms of the house. And I heard my mother and my brother in my mom's bedroom. She was yelling at him and upset with him and having a discussion with him. And I heard the conversation. And then my brother actually came out and he shook me and he was screaming, there's something wrong with me, something wrong with me. And then after that, I started having these sorts of things and having spiritual encounters and stuff like that. Not a tremendous amount. And I would say that all of them are with God and Jesus, basically. I mean, they're not all, but the majority of them. In this instance, I had a dream and I fell asleep, and the moment my head hit the pillow, I'm no longer on Earth. And I'm standing in front of 3 little raised steps, and they're about half height of a regular step. I'm on a platform, and then it goes up to 3 steps onto another platform. And it's carpeted with clouds that are about 2 to 3 inches thick. If you could carpet the floor with clouds that are about 2 to 3 inches thick, just enough to kind of cascade over the top of your feet and kind of not make your feet disappear, but it's like grass, if grass was clouds or something. And 3 little steps, and at 1, 2, 3, and I hop up the steps, and it's, for some reason, it's I know where I'm going. And I hop up the steps, and I raise my eyes up, and I see the Father sitting on his throne. And it doesn't even occur to me this is strange, And I feel like I have full acknowledgement of myself, and I don't really actually think it was a dream. I think in your dreams, we, sometimes go on trips, I don't know how to put that, but I feel like it was literally my spirit, and especially for what happened next. So I walk up and I see the Father, and he's sitting there, and I look up to him and I smile at him, and he looks at me and he smiles, and he's sitting on a golden throne, and he looks big, if I could say, probably at least 10 to 12 foot tall, but he looks like a man, but maybe 55, less than 60, not 60. And next to him, he has a little marble table to his left. And I just walk up to him and I smile and I reach over with my right hand and I reach over, and I don't know why I did this. There was a little pair of golden tweezers on his left. And I reached over and I grabbed them and I smiled and I pivoted my foot and took one single step away. And he said my name. He said, Ryan. I'm mimicking him, like literally, this is what he said. Ryan, those are not yours. And I turned around and I felt like this little 8-year-old kid. Like, even though I'm obviously, you and I are probably relatively close to the same age, I think I'm probably a little older than you. Maybe 5-10 years older than you. I turned around and I literally felt like a little 6-7-year-old kid, maybe 8. And I said, I know these are not mine, but you have so much, and I'm just going to borrow these. I'm just going to use these. I'll bring them right back. You won't even know they were gone. And I'm like holding them out in front of my head, waving them around like his tweezers. And for the life of me, I had no idea why I did this, why I grabbed them. And he said to me,
how old were you? Sorry to interrupt. How old were you when that dream happened?
Yeah. This is 1.5 years ago.
Oh, this is recent.
I've seen him about at least 3 or 4 times. Well, he's spoken to me more than this, but like I've seen him with my own eyes 3 or 4 times in the last 2 years. And it's like, I wish I'd seen him every night. That would be awesome, but I don't get to. And sometimes I'm like, I want to see you. And he shows up when he wants to. But I hear him and I pray to him and I pray to the Father in Jesus' name. And, I have a relationship with the Lord, So I held the tweezers up and I was like, I know. I said all of that. And he responded to me and he said, just like this, I have done everything that can be imagined for the children of earth. And I'm quoting him verbatim. This is exactly what he said without adjustment. I would never intentionally say something or change anything that he said. He said, I have done everything that can be imagined for the children of earth, and I've withheld from them no good thing. And yet they don't thank me. They don't show me, they don't show me gratitude. And then he paused and he looked me directly in the eyes and he looked literally sad, like heartbroken. And have you ever seen somebody when they look at you and they're like upset and sad and they're at any moment getting ready to break down and cry and they give you like a sad smile to try to fight back the tears?
Oh yeah.
Like they try to smile when they're like about to break down he literally gave me that look on his face. He said, I have done everything that can be imagined for the children of earth. And yet they don't thank me. They don't give me gratitude. They don't even, and this is when he did that, they don't even acknowledge me. And I'm like, when he said that, it was like a knife in my heart. It hurt. And then he said to me, this part crushed me. He said, you're not going to be like one of them, are you?
Hey, before we get back to the episode, I want to thank today's sponsor. So instead of businesses sponsoring this podcast, I'll let you, the listener, sponsor an episode of God's Voice daily. And today's sponsor is Heather, who shared these verses with us. Romans 8:38 and 39. For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord. Thank you, Heather, for helping make this episode possible. And if you'd like to sponsor an episode, just go to godsvoicetoday.com/support. And now let's get back to the episode.
And I just started crying and I shouted, no! And I turned back around and I threw the tweezers back down on the table. And I was like, I don't even want those stupid tweezers anymore. I don't even know what I was going to do with them. I was like, I don't even want them anymore. And I stepped over to him and I just threw my head in his lap and I tried to wrap my arms around his waist, but his waist was so big. I just cried in his lap. I felt so bad. And in this dream, if you want to call it that, again, I can see in the 360 all the way around me. Like I can see his robe in front of me, and he's wearing a white robe, and my head is in his lap, and I can see his robe because my face is in his lap, and I'm looking at the robe that's hanging down the front of his chest, and my face is laying in his lap, and I can also see behind me as though I'm looking from a CCTV, and I see him looking straight ahead, and he has his hands cupped on the armrest of his thumb. And as I'm laying there in his lap crying, and I'm trying to wrap my arm around his waist and hug him because I saw he's hurting because of what he just told me. And, you know, the way that people on earth treat him, you know, and he called us the children of earth. That's just the term that he used. And I can see him looking off in front of me as my head is there with his robe hanging in the front. And then he kind of looks down a little and he lifts his right hand and he starts rubbing my back to try to comfort me for the pain that I'm feeling over the pain that he's feeling. He's trying to comfort me. So he's rubbing my back and I wake up. And so that message was like, you know, I took the message as, you know, number one, thanking him. And he's literally done everything that we can possibly imagine. And he said, I've withheld from them no good thing. And yet they don't thank. They don't thank him.
Not even acknowledging.
Right.
Forget thanking.
And when he said, right. Like we don't even acknowledge him. And I was like, man, can you imagine doing all that for somebody and you don't even get acknowledged? Not only do you not get acknowledged, they deny you.
You know, Ryan, it kind of reminds me, I recently had a phone call with my dad, and I'm not very good at staying in touch with people, especially long distance phone calls, mom and dad, like horrible. I need to get better at that. But my father called me, and my father is such a wise man. And he was just like, hey, Vlad, just want to hear from you sometimes, you know, it's like, but his whole call was the exact same thing what you were telling me. He's like, I see you're busy. You're cranking out a lot of stuff. And he's like, that's great and all, but how is your walk with the Lord? It's like, you know what? The Lord wants to hear from you too. It's like, just like me, the father, when you don't call me, man, it kind of hurts me. Like I want to hear your excitement. Come to me, just you sharing what's going on. And then he said, it's like, forget, okay, I'm your earthly father, but man, your father in heaven wants to hear from you, Vlad. You spending time with him in the morning? Are you telling him about everything that's happening to you? Are you thanking him? And I'm not going to lie, busyness got in the way and I wasn't spending as much time as I should have. Thank God for parents like that remind you. But I just remembered, you know, I'm a father. My father's a father. He felt the pain of me not staying in touch with him. But he's like, how much more does your father in heaven wants to hear from you? And I thought of my kids. I have 9 and a 12-year-old. And I'm like, man, that would break my heart if my kids didn't stay in touch with me. If they went to AI, Google search for things they could have asked me.
Right. And the thing is, like, our Father in heaven, to use that term, has done way more for us than our Father on earth.
Way more.
You can't even imagine. There's things you don't even know about that he's done for you. Things that we haven't even discovered yet that are part of life, part of the invisible world. And it's like everything that he's ever done for you, every single step on every single level, every single thing is an absolute miracle. And you're just like a miracle after miracle after miracle after miracle. And your life is the same thing. And every single one of those things he's done for you. And we don't even acknowledge him. You know, it's like, boom, bro. So that was that. And then I had, so this is another scenario where this instance, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like change it up so quick.
You're good.
Did I kind of?
No,
okay.
You're good, man.
So then I had another message, and this is regarding upcoming events. So this is like a bit prophetic, and truthfully, Vlad, like I really, brother, I watch your stuff, and I can just see your heart and your passion, and I can see the purity in you, and you know, I can see there's a lot of people in this field, right, that you're doing. There's a lot of people that are doing it. It's great, and I love it. You're one of my favorites. And I tell you because I can see your heart.
Thank you.
That was really why I reached out to you. And truthfully, like I really, if at all possible, I don't want my identity exposed, because a couple different reasons. I can't really tell you everything, but I have some information, and I have a prophetic thing that was delivered to me from God, and it's regarding something that's going to most likely happen towards the end of the year. But I can't tell you everything. I'm not really at liberty. I'm not really allowed to, but I could just tell you this. So we know the devil, Satan, Lucifer, whatever you want to call him. In this instance, this character, this person, entity, whatever, he was, the name that was used to describe him was Lucifer. That's what I was told in my dream. And in my dream, a lot of things happen in my dream, but not always, right? Like when I have miracles, usually we want those to happen in real life, and they do. I've had multiple documented miracles happen in my real life for myself and my wife and all that, including healings, and then just like supernatural, like shifting, changing mountains into flat land, not physical mountains, but they were definitely mountains for us, But in this instance, this was a dream. And because it's prophetic, obviously we're not standing in the moment of this instance. But I was told this, and you can take it for what it means, for whatever. I know you've had a lot of people saying that the Lord's coming back in September. And well, I don't want to recant that, right? I don't know. I do know that I've spoken to the Father several times in the last little bit, and he's told me things about the future, and never has he told me that his son is coming back in September. I was not under that impression whatsoever. But I was told this: Lucifer is like in a checkmate position. This is what I was told. I'm just gonna, and I want to paraphrase it because there's some information in this that I'm not at liberty to give out right now. Right now. In the future, maybe. Let's wait and see. Let's see if this actually comes to pass. I was told Lucifer is in a checkmate position, and he's about to be exposed on a world stage in a way that the world has never known or seen. And that I want to say this in a way without that he's about to be exposed. He's in a checkmate position, and he is about to be exposed in a way that the world has never seen. And you won't believe what's about to happen. You won't believe the deception. And this is such an earth-shattering deception. It's going to change the world. Like,
wow. Any examples?
Even science. Like
when you say
from
this,
like religion to science,
okay,
ultimately shift everything.
You're talking about like transhumanism, AI kind of stuff? I'm
sorry?
Are you talking about like transhumanism, AI kind of stuff?
No. I'm talking serious I'm talking serious physical change. Has nothing to do with AI or transhumanism. It's more along the lines of deception and how deep that is, and the exposure of it on a level where it cannot be denied. Like, if Lucifer was hiding in the corner the whole time in the shadows and nobody knew it or seen it, and everybody was deceived to think that he wasn't there. And then suddenly the Lord exposed him.
So you're saying that he will be exposed
on a worldwide level. That'll cause a shift that is like something the world has never seen. Like if Lucifer, and we call him the devil, Satan, the enemy, there's a lot of different things that we attach to him. The one who opposes, right? If he's in a checkmate position and he's about to be exposed on a massive, massive worldwide level, in a way that like, okay, let me tell you the rest of it. It's like this. He has one move left, and that move is checkmate. There's no other option. There's one move on the table, and that move is checkmate.
But here's
So he has
the question,
an option.
though.
Sorry, go ahead.
When your back is against the wall.
Right. Exactly. Here's his option: to try to make a move that's not on the board. And this is what I was told, bro. See, this instance was not God the Father speaking to me. It was an angel. I did not see the angel in the dream. Some other things were happening, and I saw Lucifer. I know what and who he is. I know there's an element that represents him, and I'm not going to get into that.
But it's kind of like, if you think about, Ryan, like if your back is against the wall, right, your corner,
yeah,
you're
going to make a move that's off the board.
Well, and then it could be costly, right?
Right.
Desperate people do desperate things.
Exactly. That's what I was told, brother. All right. So there's one move, and that's checkmate. And Lucifer's in that position right now. And here's the thing. The Father is not willing that any should perish, or that any like calamities fall upon his children or anything. But the Father, the message given to me from the Father, and was spoken verbatim from him. I can't tell you the whole thing, because that will, there's some things I'm not allowed to say. Like, I'm not. And in the future, that'll make sense. But I was told he has one move, and that is he makes his move, and it's checkmate. It's over. But because he knows that, and he's so aware of that, he may, with his free will, all of God's creation has free will. All living beings have free will. That's how Lucifer fell. That's how he got angels to rebel, and they decided to go with him, and all that good stuff, or bad stuff, really. I was told that if he even raises his hand, Lucifer, this is the message from the Father, spoken verbatim. It's not spoken by the Father, but by an angel that was explaining it to me. If he even raises his hand to touch, not attack, raises his hand to touch something that is not related to the chessboard, not related to the move, to touch. It's like there's a level of attack, okay? Attack, swing, punch, or touch. The instruction was this: if he raises his hand to touch, right? Touch only, just raises his hand. He doesn't have to accomplish the deed. In fact, I was told he won't even be successful in the touch. But if he raises his hand to touch, and I can't disclose what it was that he's touching, but it meant something off the board. It's like outside of the game, quote, quote. If he raises his hand to touch, the Father himself will strike him with a mortal, deadly blow. And I took this to mean something like this: because I know who this entity is, and I know him not because I know him through my Christian walk, right? I know him through my faith in the Father and our Lord Jesus Christ. I know him through the Bible more than anything. I don't know him through personal experience per se with him, but I have seen things in real life one time with my own eyes. If he even raises his hand to touch XYZ, it's something off the board, something outside of the board, something off the game. He will not even be successful in the touch, and the Father himself will strike him with the deadly mortal blow. Now, I understood this when that was spoken to me. I knew what that meant. It was like he would be as low or lower than a man, so that like basically any man could stomp him out after the strike from the Father. And this is just what I was told. But I also, with my knowledge of who this being is, I knew that it was something in the heavens. I knew it was something in the heavens. And so we're looking at a situation where towards the end of this year, that move is going to take place. there's going to be a move on the board and he loses, or there's going to be an attempted move off the board and he loses. What does that mean for us? Well, if my dream comes to pass, there's going to be shaking in the heavens. And it's going to be events that we've never seen before. Movements in the stars, perhaps the moon and the sun. Definitely the sun. Definitely the sun. And people that have knowledge would understand what I mean by that, because there is reference to these things in the Bible. But I don't know how this ties into end time events, because I took this to mean it's a turning, a dawn of a new age, where righteousness reigns on the earth and the children of the Lord take dominion. That's what I saw it as. And I have biblical reason for that. And God has spoken to me other things regarding the future that have not come to pass. And this is another reason why I'm like, is he coming to rapture us right now? I'm not against that. And I'm not saying you shouldn't prepare, because the truth is this. Tomorrow you could die, Vlad. I could die. Yeah. That's our rapture.
Right.
You know, who cares if God's coming back in September? You may not make it there.
Well, and another thing,
yeah.
Ryan, that kind of worries me is that if it doesn't happen in September, the great fallout.
Right.
That's what I'm like, because I'm getting criticized for this whole, like, I'm not 100% attached to myself. I was going to interview the gentleman that made that claim. That he hopped on a call just like you did on this phone call, and I just published it because I thought it was interesting. But when you publish it, automatically people think that you are the one that said it, kind of thing, right? And right. I was going to go do a longer interview with him, and I canceled it because, like, I don't want to attach to this September thing. Like, I don't know. I just, what if, to me, it was like, wow, what if it's that close? And then I'm getting criticized, this and that, whatever. But I'm afraid that if it doesn't happen, the great fallout that can happen. And
I'll see you on October 1st, Vlad. I'll see you on October 1st. And I'm not saying that, listen, I mean that in a way like, I know the Father, you know, and I'm absolutely, I've been walking with the Lord for more than 40 years, because I've known him since I was a very, very small child. I mean, you're talking like kindergarten. I had an affinity for God, and I was like, I'm with you, you know? Mm-hmm. And so it has been like decades before I ever saw God or Jesus, you know? I had one encounter when I was like 6 years old, and then it was like decades before he ever even appeared in me in a dream, you know? I didn't even know what a vision was until I had some. And I was like, what's that? And I was like, oh, those are visions, you know? But I rarely have those. Usually I'm, you know, I feel them outside of my body. But here's the thing. I'm not trying to say 100% rapture's not going to happen in September at the Feast of Trumpets. I'm not trying to say that, because I don't know.
Well, the Bible says, and I'm not saying that either, because people are like, Vlad, you're somebody left a comment just like, you know it's not going to happen. You're just doing this for the clicks, and you're just deceiving people. Like, I'm not like, I don't know the future.
Me too. But I do know what God said, and either I'm deceived and I'm not seeing God, and something else is speaking to me, or God didn't tell me that. And it would be really weird for him to be telling me all these things and be like, oh, by the way, I know I made promises about the future, that I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and this is going to happen, and that's going to happen. And I know I fulfilled some of them, but these other things, we're just not going to do those anymore. Geez, my son's coming back, like, you know, a few years early, you know. I'm just saying, you know, of course, God could do whatever he wants, but here's another take on it. Possibly these people are seeing something that's related to something, but it's not the actual return of Christ, but maybe more like a preparing of the way, right? Where a shift and a change happens that sets everything into alignment so that event can happen in the future. And what they could be saying is that this shift and this alignment, or this changing, kind of like changing of the old guard sort of thing, is what they're seeing. And it's like the return of the essence of Christ, the return of the path of Christ that leads us to the redemption, the rapture, his second coming, or how, there's a lot of people that have a lot of different takes on that. And that's like, we believe Jesus is the Son of God. He died on the cross for our sins. Every man is a sinner. Every man needs redemption, and it's through his blood, and that he's the Son of God, and he defeated death, hell, and the grave for us. That's what we believe. And that's where our salvation's found. It's not found in like theologics and like, well, what do you think about the color of this car?
Right.
Yeah. Who cares about that? The important thing is your rapture could be tomorrow.
Yes.
Let's say it was on the 23rd. Let's see, definitely God's coming back on the 23rd. Well, so what? You who says you're going to make it till then?
But I'm still concerned of the falling out. That's what really a part of me, and I got criticized for the statement that I made that I wish I never published that episode.
Yeah.
And it was like on the hype, I kind of like, man, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Didn't think it through. Now I'm like, oh man, I don't want to be responsible for the falling out. I almost made a statement, almost made a video separate, but I mean, I definitely lost a lot of sleep over this. Still am a little bit, because I don't know how to, I'm still trying to hear from the Lord. Like, what do I do? How do I,
right.
Because I don't know if it doesn't happen, I don't want the falling out.
Right. And here's the thing. I am almost confident that will happen. Now, I could be wrong, right? We all need to be prepared. Like I said, whether the rapture's on the 23rd or our death is tomorrow or next week, or the rapture's on the 23rd of like 2035, or the 24th on the, equinox, whatever, Feast of Trumpets, whatever. Whenever that time is, we need to be prepared. But there's no guarantee that any of us are going to make it to then, So we need to be prepared today, brother. Whatever we would do then, we need to be doing right now.
Tomorrow's not promised.
Because you don't know.
Well, the next hour is not promised. I mean, all you have is now.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And so as far as that, I totally agree that it's a really big catastrophic thing if people are making predictions. Oh, it's definitely going to happen. Definitely going to happen. Definitely going to happen. Definitely going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not a definitely kind of guy. I don't like, and again,
no.
I didn't think this through. And again, there are people going to be in the comments. They're going to be criticizing me. And, but the thing is, some people, Christians, they're just, I want to call them out and call them selfish. They just want to be zapped out of here. They don't want to deal with anything. And I think that's selfish. It's like they're just like, I'm just ready for this.
Right?
I'm not going to deal with any of this stuff. I'm just going to be, and I don't care about anybody, anything else. Like those are like, that really criticize me. That kind of spirit, like, how dare you go say something like, man, we're waiting for this day. We're like, I'm done. I'm ready to check out. That's kind of selfish because I made a comment like, man, I'm not ready to go. There's still a lot of work to be done. Like this, people are not ready. Right. And so the idea that like, that it could happen, it's like, it was more of a wake up call for me. Like, my gosh, what if it's that close? And I shared it from that kind of heart.
Right.
Like, man, guys, what if it's this close? What if this guy is right? Because, when you're young, you think that you have forever. And then like, what if it's that close? So the urgency, I felt the urgency, but the more I saw how people were like, that's it, they're ready to check out. And it's now I'm like, whoa. The falling out, the great falling out could happen, and start processing. And anyway, but I don't want this, I don't want to be dragged into this whole September thing. I just want to move on. I just want to feature supernatural testimonies. Like, it was never meant to be the end time podcast. And somehow I get dragged into this. Well, I know somehow I should have been more cautious about posting something like that. But anyway,
it's okay. And ultimately, I think that there are going to be signs and wonders that kind of look like, and I could be wrong too, right? I'm not saying to you 1000% what I said is right. I'm just saying, brother, I received the message. I do know the Father. I'm absolutely convinced of that. My wife has seen Jesus. I've seen the Father 3 or 4 times. I've seen Jesus once. And just really, really fantastic experiences.
Well,
I'm beyond convinced of God's existence and his son as the
well, same for me, Ryan. I had a face-to-face encounter with Jesus. He never told me the exact dates. He just told me to start this podcast, and he thought it was a good idea, and he told me he'll help me. And so that's all I was told. But when you bring people on the show and people say things like, I want everybody to know that you take this and you pray about it. But then this burden, this responsibility on me is like, well, use your discernment flat. But a part of me, I just want to share. People call in, I want to share them. Like, let's all discern in the comments. Let's pray about this. This is not the gospel. This is just a show where in pursuit of truth, you're going to have to, it's risky to pursue truth, right? Because in pursuit of truth, there's going to be bad apples. Right. And so like this idea that you can only publish somebody who's like 100% right. Like, man, I had a bishop on, like, I don't exactly agree everything with the bishop, but there's some things that I've learned from him. And this idea that we all can agree on everything and only post the things that, like, especially in the Christian world, denominations, different things, everybody's one thing I agree, we can all agree on is what you shared earlier, what Jesus did for us. All the other things is just distraction, in my opinion.
Right. And they don't matter. They're not, in my opinion, those things are not issues of salvation. It's like, until we're all saved, what are we arguing about? Well,
Ryan, man, thanks for bringing all that up. I'll publish this, probably get all kinds of comments, but
that's okay, man.
It
honestly,
is what it is.
I feel for you because I understand that situation. But at the same time, what are you going to do?
I don't want this attached on me, but I did share it on my channel, so I do feel responsible. I do feel responsible. I did say, and now like I don't want to just remove it, but at the same time, because like, what if it does happen? So it's like, I don't know. It's like one of those things, I don't know which way to go. And people are like, well, if you truly hear from the Lord, you would know. I'm like, well,
and I think
trying.
Just what you said right there. It's like, I'm not absolutely certain. Who could be? And here's the truth. I'm not saying that it's not going to happen. I'm not. I'm just emphasizing like there's a whole lot of people that are not going to make it to that date. And some of them could or would be children of the Lord. And they need to get their stuff, like we all do, their stuff in order today. That's the most important thing. If your stuff is in order, it doesn't matter when he comes, but it is our duty to hold ground until he returns. I don't remember something about like the good fight being like, oh, you know what? Just submit to the enemy. This is all going to happen anyway. No. We're supposed to be out there, maybe not with our physical sword, but, at some point, we're supposed to be holding the ground. And I don't think you hold that by like laying down in the grave, Well,
I'll tell you one thing, Ryan, this is going to be an interesting year. This is
definitely.
Or just the end of the year and all 20. I mean, it's what's happening in politics and between Russia, China, and all that stuff. There's just plenty of things that could go wrong. And so wait and see kind of thing. Well, Ryan, I better hop on other calls. I totally forgot I have one call.
Nope, you're good, man.
This was powerful. I needed this. I needed to hear this. This was good stuff. Good reminder. Appreciate you hopping on, man. We'll stay in touch.
Absolutely. All right. Take care, brother.
Take care. Bye-bye. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Before you go, can you do me a huge favor and subscribe to the channel? And also want to invite you to join our free private community with thousands of members at godsvoicefamily.com. And lastly, if you thought this testimony was powerful, wait until you check out what I have for you next. It should be on the screen right now. Go ahead, click on that video, and I'll see you there.